Well, hello. We are here to talk about Last Epoch! Nah, but I'm just playing with y'all. Today I just want to go over just a quick little, shamalama ding dong, you know what I mean? Now let me stop. But look, I wanted to kind of go over the current state of Last Epoch and kind of where it kind of stands in this, I don't know, ARPG community, or where it stands in the line of ARPG games currently. And where do I think its future holds in this, line of gaming. This line of games is kind of a little confusing at sometimes because it's kind of just like one of those games where you just don't have to use your brain at all half the time anyways. Um, so it's kind of hard to like determine like, hey, is this the best the best game in this category, I guess? Is that what I'm trying to say? But there's only two other ARPGs that even, I guess technically three, depending on how you look at it, that really are even in this community. But I kind of want to just give a little stance on where I think that Last Epoch stands at in this part. First off, we have Path of Exile 2. Now, that game is by far the hardest ARPG out of all the ones we're about to talk about. It is the most, the most difficult out of all of them, especially bosses. Some bosses. A lot of bosses in Po 2 are really not that hard, but there's like a couple that are like, damn, I want to rip my hair out type deal, you know what I mean? Uh, but in terms of like gameplay, I think Po 2 still holds like the cherry on the top for best feeling ARPG game out of all of the ones that I'm about to bring up here in a second. I just think it is the hardest out of all of them. Next on the list, we have everybody's favorite by far, Diablo 4. I don't know if Last Epoch is easier than Diablo 4. They're about on the same level of easiness. Um, I just think Diablo 4 just feels like shit, to be honest with you. Like, somehow Last Epoch has managed in 2 seasons to make their game feel and look better than Diablo 4 has, made by a multi-billion-dollar company. The only thing that Diablo 4 has going for them is their beautiful-ass cutscenes, but guess what? Nobody gives a fuck after you watch the cutscene. Because guess what? We're here for the game. Play. We didn't come to sign up and watch a movie. We came to play the damn game. um, and then the other one I was going to mention is just Po 1. I know a lot of people still enjoy playing that game, but I kind of just combine that just in the Po 1 and Po 2. But we won't bring Po 1 in this because, I mean, people that like Po 1 already play Po 1, and this is mainly being based off of the newer ARPGs. Po 1 is like 10 years old, right? I'll talk about the main three right now. Po 2, Diablo 4, Last Epoch. Okay? Where do I think Last Epoch stands on all this? Honestly, after this second season, I would say it's better than Diablo 4, but not better than Po 2. I think it's in between. And genuinely, I think if Last Epoch is going the way it's still going, as it's progressively getting better, I could see it being, a long-lasting game and a well-respected ARPG in the community. They were having, like, on Steam alone, 100,000 plus players playing daily, which is pretty damn good. It's an indie company, you know what I mean? They're still relatively new in the ARPG space of things. I mean, think about how long Po 1 was around. And then people were so hyped for Po 2 to come out, and that shit went crazy, right? You know what I mean? They had so many people playing it. I do think Last Epoch is relatively easy. I think everybody can agree with that. But I don't have a problem with that, honestly. Because even once you get to endgame, then it does actually end up becoming a little more difficult. Depending on the build you're running and what kind of gear you get and, this, that, and the other. But I also like how Last Epoch has their own version of shit. You know what I mean? Like they're not just like copy and paste completely off of like, another game. I feel like I like how each ability has its own skill tree. I feel like that really helps with the, everybody having a different type of build. And I also like how like you could take one skill and change it and do like 5 different things with it. So everybody kind of has their own, their own version of their build, you know what I mean? Not one person's, 2 people's builds are exactly the same because somebody might take from this passive tree. Somebody might take from this skill, go on this skills tree and take some other skill points. This person might take these skill points over here or these skill points over here, and then you have the masteries, and then you could take some points from other masteries. So no one person's build is exactly alike. I think the crafting in Last Epoch is really good. I think um, the scaling is really good in terms of like playing with your friends. That's an issue with Po 2 I have. As soon as you add like one person into your group and you play with two people on Po 2, the scaling is absolutely shit. And it feels like the boss or like people you're fighting just don't die at all. Um, so yeah, I enjoy how you can play with your friends in Last Epoch and not feel like you have to sweat your balls off. Um, but yeah, I really just enjoy the diversity of builds and the casualness of the game itself. That's what I really enjoy and I think makes it fun, is that it's the build diversity is better than Diablo, but the game is just as easy as Diablo, you know what I mean? And you can go so many different ways with your builds, and I just find the game to be very entertaining. And I think if they continue doing these updates where they're progressively making the game better and better and better, I can see the game being around for a while. I enjoy it. I've played every season of the game so far. I mean, mind you, it's only been 2 seasons now, and season 0 technically, if you want to consider that. Um, but yeah, I think the game's at a really good point right now, and I think if they continue down this path, that it'll be a long-lasting game that people will respect and be waiting for every season when it drops. They just have to keep adding new content. That's it. But yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping by. I just want to give my 2 cents on what I think, how Last Epoch is kind of in this current ARPG community of games. But yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Make sure you leave a like and a sub, and I'm going to continue posting. I appreciate everybody that stopped by, and thank you, and peace.